Hello, guys. Welcome to the Bayside podcast. I'm your host today, Suli, and I'm joined with my two other hosts, Riley and Finley.
Hey, I'm Riley.
Hey, I'm Finley.
And our special guest, Lucia.
Hello, I'm Lucia Mocnay.
And Lucia is...
Sorry.
No, that's great. That's great. Well,
It's weird to have voices, though. I'm not going to lie.
it is very weird
I
to
kind of
hear
like it,
yourself.
though, now.
Yeah.
It was weird for a while, but now I kind of like it.
Yeah.
So Lucia is a taxidermy.
Taxidermy
artist.
Oh, taxidermy artist.
Yes.
Well, what's that like?
What's that like?
Should we start with what is that, maybe, for those?
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Because
Well, I am an artist and I work with sculpture, and the sculpture that I work with is fur-based. So I'm working with dead animals, pretty much.
Fun.
Remaking animals like they are at the museum, but I then go one step further and dress them into some funky little outfits. And
Nice.
yeah.
Which are very funky. We have the books in front
Yeah,
of us.
we've got the books in front of us, and
very
they
cool.
appear very unique.
Ooh, what's this one?
I don't
a
know.
lot-
There's
lot
some.
of fox
There's a lot of
photos.
interesting stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
well,
There's a lot of foxes and a lot of dogs.
you keep
Some
the meat?
cats. What?
You ever keep the meat to eat?
No,
Sully.
no.
It's like kill them
No.
herself.
Sully.
Surely.
No, I don't. So where they come from, because I only work with invasive species in Australia, and pets, so cats and dogs. And where they come from is a very long story, which I guess I will get into a bit later.
Oh, this one's got a boat on its head. I didn't
Oh,
realize.
yeah.
I
That's
didn't
actually
see that.
sick.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah.
I like that. What's the inspiration for the boat?
That one was based on Marie Antoinette.
Ooh.
So
Oh, I know that one from Doctor Who.
yeah.
Sky.
That's great.
Yeah.
Have you watched the new one, the Disney Plus one?
Yeah, it's
Is it
good.
good?
It's good.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Oh, you're
But yeah, Marie Antoinette. That's mad.
So
That's pretty cool.
when you do this particular job, how do most people respond to it? If you bring it up in conversation, or
Yeah,
Oh.
if someone were to
just
ask,
in general.
Yeah, so I've had a few different variations of responses. Some people love it, like absolutely love it, like they go nuts, like they go super, super nuts, and they scream and they laugh and they just can't believe it. And then other people are like, no, where did you get that from? So I get a lot of, it's a real massive, what's that thing where it's like,
pendulum.
yeah, contrast as well. Yeah,
pendulum.
so love and hate. So
Fair enough.
yeah, it's interesting. I've had to explain why I do it and where I do it. And
what's that reason? What do you
well, the thing is, so I work with invasive species in Australia. So foxes aren't meant to be here. Rabbits aren't meant to be here. So the reason that they're here is because in the 1800s, the Churnsides, who, as well as they're like a big family from Werribee, they're the ones that have got Werribee Mansion. So they brought over foxes for fun because in the olden days in England, they used to go fox hunting and that was their sport. So they're like, we're moving to Australia. We're going to bring some foxes with us so we can continue our sport, because they'd never heard of kangaroos or anything.
Which I think is based off this one that Riley's looking at right now. It's
Oh,
pretty
it's so-
cool.
Love that. But I was interested in the story.
Is this
Yeah.
one Pakistani?
So they brought them here and then they set them free, and now like we've got an ecological disaster happening here because they are pretty much the apex predator. Dingoes don't really, I don't know who would win in a fight with a dingo
Probably
and
me.
a fox.
That's how I got cancelled last time, the fight.
Oh no, we're not starting with any fights.
Not again.
Yeah.
So like, where do you get the designs for most of these?
So some of them are just, I don't know, like that one's Bastet. She's the Egyptian goddess of cats. So some of them are archetypes, some of them are movie characters, some of them are like, sometimes I get a fox and, oh, that's from Dracula.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
very interesting.
I've never watched the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, one of the
No, but
ladies from
you
Dracula.
know the story.
Like that.
Yeah, so
That's sick.
all different characters from pop culture, folklore, archetypes.
Where is Drake?
Anything.
So pets and invasive species. What sort of drew you to that? Was it the story behind it, like with them being invasive, or?
So there's a lot of laws in Australia with taxidermy. You can't actually taxidermy native animals. They're protected.
Really?
So that's a really good thing. Damn. But because of that, you need a license, and I don't have a license. So I focused on invasive species, plus the fact that, so now, forward 200 years, the foxes are still out there. Every year guys go hunting and they just shoot them and leave them in the field. So I thought, make something out of that, tell them to bring it back for me, and make some art out of something that, would just otherwise end up perishing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think added on to that question on like how you got into these types of species, how did you decide to get into taxidermy artistry in the first place? Because I just asked myself
that's a big question.
That is a very important question.
I get asked that a lot, and it's really funny because I did a Bachelor of Fine Arts at uni, so I was working with sculpture and I was working with bones and I was working with feathers, and I wasn't working with fur. But then we needed to buy a piece of taxidermy for an art piece, and we bought one from a shop in Melbourne, and I looked at it and it was so shizzle. It was really bad.
It was really shizzle.
It was very shizzle. And I looked at it and I deconstructed it and went, oh my God, look, I can see clay here. I can see this bit of fur. I can see this stitching. What is this eye? I could do better than this. And then, so I just thought, I'm going to.
Yeah.
And at the time I was, I had a lot of costumes. I was, doing a bit of dress ups. So when we bought that one piece, I put an outfit on it, and then I was like, I want to make it a Mexican, I want to make it a bride, I want to make it this, I want to make it that, I want to make it this.
Can you make it a Tongan?
Huh?
Next time you make one, just make it a Tongan.
Okay, I'll make it a Tongan. Yeah. And then I was really sad that I had to undo the outfit to do the next outfit. So I just thought, I'm going to make an army of foxes. And
then you just went for it.
Yeah, I did.
Fair enough. That's so cool.
I was really excited that, because there's so many foxes here, so many foxes. So with the ethics and the sustainability, I'm super happy with.
So how long does it actually take you to make one of these?
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Well, so if you start at the start, which is gathering the pelt, so it takes a little while to skin and tan to process it. I outsource that to a professional tanner, so I don't have to do the dirty work myself. It's a big job. It's smelly. You need a lot of space. It's a really, you have to get the process right, otherwise it can disintegrate. So I get a professional to do that. And then I mount it, and the mounting takes maybe a day or two, depending on if I'm doing a whole piece or just because I work with small mammals, so, most of them are not too big.
Not massive.
Yeah. But then it takes a couple of weeks to dry it, and then if it dries wrong, then you have to re-wet it and fix it up.
Right.
And then once it's dry, you have to finish it. You have to put the makeup on and do a little finishing work, because sometimes some of the colour falls off, and you got to go around the mouth and do a bit of clay work and stuff. And then once that's done, I dress them, and that can take it depends on the outfit, but it can take up to 3 months, 4 months sometimes.
3 months?
Yeah, I think the fastest I've done one was about 6 weeks. Because, it takes ages.
I mean, there are some very elaborate costumes, so fair enough.
Yeah, no.
You have to be very patient for this job, I reckon.
Yeah, and I'm working on several pieces at once because say that I need a certain piece, like a pipe for a corgi, I have to wait. If I go on eBay, then I have to wait for it to be sent in the mail. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm working on another piece. So I'm constantly juggling lots of pieces. There's something drying while I'm working on something else. So
how many?
Bit of a pendulum, like we said before.
How many pieces in total?
I actually counted the other day. I made about 70 pieces.
Wow. 70 pieces. So you've been doing this for over
2,
3, 4 years?
No, 12.
Close.
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah. So sorry, that's a bit loud.
12 years.
One thing that I was wondering when I saw this, what are they? I always kind of thought this. I went to the museum recently and I thought about it. What are they filled with? Do they put the bones in there? Surely that's a waste.
Right, good question. There's actually a lot of different things inside. Sometimes you've got the skull, and the skeleton.
Keep the shape, right?
Yeah,
Like the
and
spine and stuff.
yeah, you can do it that way. So they started off doing that back in the olden days. That was how they did it. They'd get the skeleton, then they'd get wood wool, which is like a stuffing made out of wood saw, like sawdust stuff, but thicker. And they would bind it with string. So you'd go around and around and around and around and make like a body, and then you'd have to shape it, and then you put the skin on top. But in like the 80s or something, don't quote me on the year, but they figured out 2-part polyurethane forms. So now a lot of these pieces have got like a pre-made form. So yeah, you pour your 2 mix and you put it into a kind of a mold, and it comes out, and then you can carve it, and then you can just do the finishing bits. So there's a mixture of things inside. Sometimes it's skulls, sometimes it's jaws, sometimes it's nothing at all, and it's only the skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Question.
I wouldn't think it was a mold. That's pretty impressive.
Question.
Yeah.
If they all did a night at the museum at your house, what would you be doing? What would you do? If they just all came alive.
Go fox hunting.
Oh, that'd be mad.
Yeah, what would you do realistically? Like, is there a way to like kill them all? Like,
Well,
Jesus, man.
they're already
Calm down.
dead, but they've got no legs.
Well,
So they're stuck on
They're all
walls.
mounted.
Yeah, rest of it hung against the wall.
It'll just be loud, I reckon.
we have a really loud, long night.
Yeah, they would be talking, and I would have to tell them to shut up. Yeah.
That'd be cool though.
Do you have like maybe not a favorite, but a piece you were most passionate about?
Yeah, I've got a few favourites. That one there is my favourite. That's Zoltar from the movie Big.
Zoltar.
Have you
Right.
guys
In
seen
the
movie
box.
Big?
Yeah. I wish I was.
Yeah, which is based on a like 1900s or 1800s magician.
So Tom Hanks like turns into a.
No,
well, a kid
no.
turns into.
No, it's
whatever.
the machine that they
Yeah, but
use.
yeah,
He
they
didn't know
make
what the
the
movie
movie.
was.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you have like should I say the weirdest, the most bizarre piece you've ever done? Is it in one of these or?
The most bizarre piece.
I reckon they're all unique in like.
I mean, fully.
You are
I don't know
unique.
about you. I've never seen many mounted fox heads dressed like this.
Yeah,
And I've seen several mounted fox heads.
So,
that's good.
do you have
yeah, I don't think any of the bizarre pieces are in here because these are like my best ones. My other favorite one was the full size kitsune that I did. That
Oh, yeah. I think that was somewhere.
that
So-
one won the championships.
Wow.
Like-
In
So
the
it's
anthropomorphic division.
a big industry then.
Well, it's not actually. It's a
Oh.
really small industry. It's a big industry in America. It's huge in Europe as well. But here in Australia, it's a really small industry. The industry, like the Australian Taxidermy Championships, have been going for about 10 years. That one's at Ripley's, believe it or not. I'll get
So
to that in a
cool.
minute. But yeah, there's only like say 30, maybe about 50 taxidermists around Australia. I am making that figure up. So
Right.
don't quote me.
50 in Australia.
Yeah, there's not a lot. Like it's because here we don't have a lot of population, and there's like a lot of space between everything. And we've got a lot of laws here, so it's not a very big industry at all. The taxidermy championships have been going for about 10 years, and they're growing now.
Championships.
A lot of
Is it competitive? Very.
it's quite competitive.
There's a lot of hatred between the groups. Like,
No, everyone's really nice, and a lot of the people that are doing that have been doing it for like years, and they're all getting a bit older. So it was predominantly a male, like an older male kind of sport. I would
Typical.
So like
hobby.
like maybe 5 years you'll be winning it every year.
Well, there's a lot of chicks coming in now and a lot of younger girls, and they're doing more kind of this sort of stuff, more arty stuff and more ethical stuff, whereas a lot of the older guys were doing a lot of deer hunting. So you go there and you got like...
Wasn't being original enough.
Big box.
Yeah, so... And they work with the big stuff and we work with the small
Is there
stuff.
like a difference in groups between what you do, like the ones that are put up on the mount, or like between the ones used in museums, or like other groups? Because I remember when I went on vacation one time in Australia, I saw a lot of like taxidermied foxes, but they were the full body ones.
Yeah.
So you basically just get a chainsaw and go straight through it.
So in the museums, they don't do anthropomorphic stuff. Like in the museums, they've got pretty much the whole point of them is to have the animal as true to life as possible, and it's for science and to learn from. And it's interesting. I went for a 2.5-hour back of house tour of the museum yesterday.
Wow.
So I met the
Curious.
head of conservation there, and
I don't know anything about the museum.
yeah. And they showed me how they do everything there, so it was really cool. But their whole, like the way that they do everything is really different to what these are done or hobby taxidermists do, because they're doing a lot of preparations for the future. So they need it to last forever.
Right.
So they're sorry, I only just learnt this yesterday. They're pretty much doing all these tests on all the adhesives and all the everything that they work with to make sure it's going to last for a very long time, because they can see all the ones that were done 200 years ago and they're falling apart, and they're like, oh, this plastic is doing that to that and this is that. And so they've got the whole big science and nature, and they've got DNA in there as well. So
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of money. But how much do these usually cost, like, from, like, prices wise?
well, it costs me quite a lot to make them, and then I sell them for a little bit more than that.
Is there a website like so people at home can go see
Yep.
see and purchase some of your?
Yep, I've got a website. It's
Anthropomorphic pieces.
www.conjuredcreations.com.
Yeah, we'll put that in the in the what is
Description.
it? Description.
So
Link in the
you
description.
mentioned different styles like anthropomorphic characters. What does that actually mean?
Anthropomorphic means human-like, so dressed like a human. So when I do my pieces, I give them a bit more of a face like a human face. So I give them smiles, and I give them like if a person looked at it, they could see an expression in it.
Right.
Whereas if you look at a normal animal, sometimes they don't have those expressions.
Yeah.
So I'm giving them human-like qualities.
Okay.
So over your 12-year-long, career of
yeah.
this, any art prizes? Or like any prizes
yeah.
being won?
Yes, I won. So last year I entered the Taxidermy Championships for the first time, because they never had an anthropomorphic division. It was always just really straight taxidermy, which is completely fine. But now anthropomorphic is kind of growing in popularity. So they started this division, and I won it last year. So
Wow.
very excited. That was with the
We the
Kitsune.
ones.
Yeah.
We the ones.
Make sure to go on the website and see it, because we have the books in front of us. They're pretty impressive. I mean, they're very impressive.
Yeah, I'll
They're
definitely
amazing. Honestly.
We're putting it on the Bayside.
Yeah, they'll
Tasty
be on
story.
somewhere. But
It's
they're
beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah, I've been doing a few art prizes as well. So my work's been sent around Australia to art galleries. And the other thing that is pretty cool, my work is around the world at Ripley's, believe it or not.
Wow.
What is Ripley's?
You ever read the
So-
books in like primary school?
Mate, I don't read.
You know how
So
to read. You know the ones where it's like the people with the long nails and stuff? It's like
No.
freaky facts.
Yeah.
I haven't read since I
Okay.
was 3, so
It was really big in the 80s and the 90s, and it's like what's that? The awards for what? Oh, that's it, Guinness Book of Records. That's right.
Oh, wait,
Are you in that?
You in that?
No,
It's-
it's like an offshoot.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hand in hand. But the Ripley's, believe it or not, they've got like all this. They've got a collection of all these really odd artifacts from around the world. So shrunken heads. They've got like the tallest guy in the world. They've got yeah.
So how did you get these in the? They're in the museum?
Yeah. So
So you're pretty well known.
What happened? Oh, look,
famous.
I wouldn't say that.
The most famous taxidermist I know.
to be
yeah,
fair.
I'll
Yeah.
take that, because you probably only know one.
And I know like
I don't
6.
Name
You
two.
know, 6 tax
Tax,
people.
What was it? Tax
Accountants.
attorneys.
Tax attorneys.
Yeah, so the way that they got into Ripley's was, it's a pretty cool story. We were in Amsterdam, and they were opening a new one there, because a lot of them are, like, there's one in Australia on the Gold Coast, and then there's like several in America, and one in, I think, South Korea, not North Korea. It's definitely
Well,
South
it's definitely
Korea.
not North
Tends to
Korea.
not be North Korea.
Oh, we hope not.
And they were opening one in Amsterdam. So I looked through the window, because they were halfway through making it, and I was like, oh, I wonder if they need any extra pieces. So I pretty much went on the website, there was one of those forms that you fill in, like to send an email. And I went, hi, I do this. Do you guys need any more work for this one in Amsterdam? This is my website. And then I was about to press send, and I was like, oh, hang on, some admin's going to get this and they're just going to not know what to do. So I wrote, please forward to the person who buys stuff. And then I sent it off and thought nothing of it. And like 2-3 weeks later, I get an email from the head of Ripley's Believe It or Not saying, hi, yes, can we buy your whole, entire collection?
Really?
And I was like, what? So that was really cool. They bought, I think, 13 pieces.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
How much was that?
It was quite a lot, but not as much as I wanted.
As much
They
as-
haggled a
wow.
bit. They got a discount because it was like a wholesale discount. But I got a good deal, and I'm really happy that my work is around the world. And they put them in a book as well. So
Oh,
yeah,
what's the book called?
it's called Odd is Art. I did not bring it today. Yeah,
It'll be
It's-
somewhere.
It's that piece there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the full size kitsune, but this is the first one I made. So that one was sold to Ripley's Believe It or Not, and that one is a kitsune. It's got all 4 legs and it's standing up, and it's got 9 tails. It's wearing a kimono, and it's got a little skull on its head, a human skull. And the story behind those guys is they're a Japanese folklore, and it's like a spirit. It's like a Japanese spirit dude. And if they find a human skull, they put it on their heads and they shapeshift into human form.
There's a Pokemon like
That's
that.
it. Yeah.
The Pokemon. You know which one, right? The one with the skull on his head. With the bone.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
like Pokemon.
Yeah.
I've seen that one, I think, before.
I don't think it's is it like a dinosaur thing?
Yes.
It would be based on it. Like
at
it's in
least-
pop culture now
Japanese are
everywhere.
freaky like that.
And there's a lot of anime and stuff, so people would know
One Piece.
kitsunes. But I think you say kitsune. I
Oh,
might be
kitsune.
saying it wrong.
You don't say Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And the thing from Naruto.
And
Yeah.
I knew I remember Kitsune.
I
Yeah.
have not watched anime, so
Me neither. Me
Anyways,
neither.
back to
No,
Taxidermy.
sorry. I actually had a question. When you said talking about sales to like Ripley's museums and stuff, do you ever get requests for like pets and stuff? Is that like the main industry in it?
Yeah. I do get commissions for pets. I've got several going at the moment. Yeah,
Wow.
they commission me to do it. It takes like up to 2 years for them to get it back.
Really?
So
Wait,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, it's investment. You see it forever, so
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
quality.
wait.
This
we're
one's
talking
a
about.
pet.
Oh, right.
The corgi there is a pet.
Wait, we're talking about dead pets.
Yeah.
So someone's dead
people
pet.
still want to see them.
That's a
Oh.
dead pet there.
Oh, because I had 2 of my pets die.
Oh,
They were really nice.
oh.
Well, it's too late now, isn't it?
Yeah,
It-
no
it-
sympathy.
It takes a certain amount of person to, like a certain personality type, to have your dead pet on your wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could not.
So some people are like,
Go back in the
absolutely
grave.
not. Yeah.
Did you get weird requests with them? Like, did the owners ask you to dress them up in something fancy?
Yes.
Really?
So she's an Austrian lady, and
Very
Would
eclectic
be.
by the sounds of it.
yeah, yeah. And in the end, I did like this Austrian outfit, and I think there's something Austrian about it. I can't quite remember what it was.
It's white.
Sir Kobe
Arnold
Lade
Schwarzenegger.
Esquire.
Yeah, I think this was from Austria.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of a Bavarian look, but she didn't ask me for that. I just kind of went with that because
Oh.
I thought it suited her personality and background. So sometimes I go a bit wild with things. And the other thing is sometimes someone like would ask me for a princess, for instance, and I get the fox, and I open it up and I go to mount it, and it's got like cuts on its nose, and it looks like it's been in a few scuffs, and it looks like a big male fox, and obviously I can't make that into a princess. It doesn't really work out, so I have to really work with the personality of the actual animal in itself.
Yeah.
So I've got that problem at the moment. I'm making a cat for like another Bastet, an Egyptian goddess cat, but the cats look like boys, and it has to be an Egyptian girl. Like,
So we're like, I'm a pretty princess.
yeah. So
Like you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I can't really push shizzle uphill with the designs. I have to really work with like the
Animals.
You gotta
and
keep
spread.
it. You gotta keep it skibbity.
I
yeah.
mean, it
yeah.
definitely don't say that. It's like it's clear to see there's a lot of emotion in their faces. Like it's actually kind of freaky. Like I don't know how to feel. I like it though.
Yeah, I
they're
try
coming-
and do that.
They're coming out.
I like seeing it. I like looking how the artists are able to make that, but it just really freaks me out.
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's why I asked. Cause
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be a very interesting type of person to get your pet
Yeah.
stuffed and mounted.
If one of my pets died, I would just be like, I don't want to see them up on my wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, she gets the pets when they're really old. So she rescues like 10-year-old dogs. And
Well, now I feel kind of bad.
well, why?
She's just a normal human being, man.
Yeah.
She's a good person.
Yeah.
But still.
So she's only really had them for a couple of years before, she gives them that end of life kind of care
Yeah.
and stuff. Michelle, hello, if you're listening.
Hi, Michelle.
Is there a lot of repeat business in the world? Like, I mean, I guess that's a bad example, but like,
Yep.
do you work with the same people a lot? 'Cause
Yes.
you said it was a pretty small industry. Do you ever collaborate on any of it?
Oh yeah. Okay. So with the actual taxidermists, we all help each other out, or some of us help each other out. Like sometimes people collaborate together on a project. Like a couple of my friends are making a crocodile for the taxidermy championship. So there's the two of them working on that. With me, I've got my tanner. I've got a couple of tanners actually that I work with. And other than that, I kind of do everything myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in your business, are there any tips for aspiring taxidermy artists? It's like, how can people start doing that? Not for
Yeah,
myself,
you
but
said
for
it was-
others.
Yeah, you
Like,
said it was
working with
crazy.
art that
So-
got you into it. But if someone was interested in this, how would you recommend them going about?
Yeah, so
Set the
if
foot
you
into the world.
do join the Taxidermy Association, they give a lot of seminars and they give a lot of tips. There's a lot of information. So you can, it's a lot of it is self-taught because there's not so much, like there's no, there was a school, a taxidermy school. I worked for a taxidermy school. And now there's just little short courses that you can do to learn how to get like the basic skills, like how to mount a bird, how to mount a small mammal, and then you got to kind of fill in all the gaps. And there's a lot of information online, like everything. If you want to learn something, you just Google it, and there's a YouTube video on how to do it. So, yeah. Otherwise, I might take an apprentice one day because.
Really?
Would that be
It
your
It
son?
would be helpful.
Would that be your son?
No, I tried
Loki?
to get my sons to do it. They're not keen.
Wow.
Finley and Loki and Mars are of the same mind.
Finley.
Can't imagine why.
No, I'd be interested.
Actually,
Oh, you would, Suli? Try it. Why don't you try it?
I'm
So-
just too busy.
Pieces you put in your books and calendars and stuff. Do you go on to sell?
Oh yeah, they're all sold.
Oh, they are all sold.
Actually,
Oh,
the
nice.
only ones I've kept is the Bastet Egyptian goddess because that's my favourite.
Yep.
And this one here, the
Dracula.
Dracula. I think it's actually Lucy from Dracula, so it's my namesake. So I'm keeping that one. And this Zoltar, which is Mr. Oswald, Sir Oswald Fortuna is his name.
Wow.
So those
That's
are the
pretty
three that I've
badass.
kept.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
At the moment, I've still got this one. This one's going into the Scotch Art Prize and will
Scotch.
hopefully get sold.
Scotch College?
Scotch College, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I remember that school. And I
You
remember.
never went to Scotch.
No, I remember beating them in a rugby game.
Oh,
That's
good
all.
on
my
you.
God.
Good on you.
Yeah, now talk about the Grange. Now talk about the Grange and how much you love the Grange.
Did you go to the Grange?
I want to go to the Grange so bad.
He loves the Grange.
Grange.
He pulls up the videos like that they post on Instagram, and he's like, "We should do this. Come on, do this TikTok dance with me."
I'm sorry. Grange under 18s rugby team. If you guys want me on your team, just.
I don't think they'll listen.
Anyways, back to
Back
it.
to taxidermy.
Back to taxidermy.
Yeah, and the rest are sold. Which is sad because I actually wanted to make a little museum where people could
That would
just
be-
come and see my
yeah.
work. Yeah, that was
That'd
like
be
my
very nice.
retirement plan.
Experience.
Have your own Ripley's, believe it or not, but just taxidermied.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was
Ripley's
a dude.
taxidermy.
That would be like a nightmare for me, just walking in and seeing a bunch of animal heads. And
You're first
I
in
know
the
what
door.
that was.
I'll
when
give
they're
you a
dressed
special.
up, it's like kind
when
of.
they're dressed up, it's funny.
It's
like-
like it's less intimidating. I feel like if I just saw it,
Why did you have to stop like that?
why did you
Because
just have me on the
because there
shoulder?
was a fly in the
Oh
air.
my god, there's a fly in
There's
the
a
air.
fly in
Really?
the air.
Yeah,
People-
let's catch in a taxidermy.
Yeah, it's fly in the air.
That's so cool, mate.
One of the guys that was my inspiration, his name is Walter Potter. Sorry to cut you guys off about the fly, but he had he was from the 1700s and he worked with a lot of like baby cats because I think this is going to get a bit dark, but back in the olden days they couldn't spay cats, so they would just like put babies into a bag and drown them.
Oh,
Looking
that's
at
nice.
Finley.
Real babies.
Yeah, dead baby
Yeah, well, that
cats,
was how
Finley.
they had to control them because otherwise they just get out of control. And there was a plague and everything going on with rats and fleas and stuff. So anyway, he made artwork out of it all, and he had a little museum where the Queen even went to look. Like it was
Wow.
like no one had seen this stuff
You
ever.
think she knew the backstory to the cats, or do you reckon she just popped in and said,
I
"Oh,
reckon
that's
she
nice"?
probably did it herself.
I
The
think
royals
it was
are
quite
kooky.
brutal back in those days. So
Back in the day.
yeah,
When Miss Hatz
things
was
have
living.
changed
Yeah,
now.
Miss
but-
Hatz is.
Miss Hatz was living back in the day.
Oh, okay. She would know
She
all
probably
about
knew
it.
all about it.
So, like, sort of expanding on that, are there any more inspirations from like other artists in the same field? Like, any things you see
Yes.
that you think, oh yeah, I want to do that,
Yes.
and it sort of inspires another animal?
I've got I've got a couple of artist inspirations. Their names are Serena Brewer. She's in America, and she kind of started the whole other art movement. Wait, that's not what she called it. She called it something. Anyway, she started a movement with
Beyond.
odd taxidermy.
Oh,
What was it called? I should know.
Wait. T. Oh no.
what?
B.
What, you think you?
Are you trying to do the alphabet now?
Oh, he's
Everyone
going
give
to
him some
spark my memory.
There we go.
A B C D
No.
A G F F D.
Okay.
He
well,
can't do it. He
no.
actually can't do the alphabet.
And the other one's called Jessica Jocelyn, and she works with bones and brass a lot of the time, and she remakes like articulations with it's really cool.
That sounds
Steampunk
nice
boxes.
because it would be bone and metal and
Yeah.
just contrasting each other.
Yeah. And
up,
interestingly, everyone loves the bones. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like people don't react. If you saw a bunch
me
of
dog.
like a little skeleton, would you react the same you would to this? Because a lot of people react like when they see taxidermy, they're like, oh, it's
I think
alive,
once
it's
you give
looking
it
at me.
I think once you give it a face,
Yeah, I
it
guess,
just,
like,
it just
yeah.
changes.
I don't know if this is offensive or not, but doing it like this makes it a lot less grotesque. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's like an
You
insult
mean
to your
bones?
business. Well, just the whole concept. Like this is clearly like passionate and artistry, not just like a dead animal I'm looking at. So it really
Yeah.
makes a difference.
Yeah. And I'm actually playing with that concept because, like I said, I get a lot of different, I get contrasting reactions from people, and the people that hate it because it does have a face. So now I'm messing with the program a bit, and I'm putting fur with an eyeball onto teapots, metal teapots. So people look at it and go, oh, I don't know how to feel about that. It doesn't have a face. So
You should try to make it anime.
yeah.
What?
You're trying to make it like an anime fox.
No.
Like a real fox, but turn it anime.
What's going on? Are you alright? Have you been locked in a room too long?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's getting a bit horny. But
What?
what can you tell us about the photo project with Aglaya?
Oh,
Am I saying
Aglaya, yes. So one of my besties of the last 10 years, because I dress the foxes up in an outfit, then I've got the outfit. So I've got bits and pieces of the outfit left. So then I dress up in the outfit, and we just for fun took some photos of like the artwork and myself in whatever situations, just for like Instagram clicks and stuff, just for, yeah. So we've got a whole photo project as well that we did exhibit as well.
Oh, there's a photo. So you wanna go
No,
first?
you go.
Do you like? Oh, you know what? Something really cool would be if you dressed up like the fox in
Yeah.
the
That's
photo.
what you just said.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what she did?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so slow.
I had to freak me out because I thought when you said you sold them, it would be in the costumes.
Yes.
Oh, so you just have spares.
Yeah, so yeah, or I then create like a my size version of the
okay, yeah,
costume, and
Makes more sense.
yeah,
Oh, I want to wear one.
yeah,
I don't think they come in our size. I said
I
our, so
can
it's not
make
rude.
you guys some.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because we would love to.
Yeah.
We would absolutely love
Cool.
to.
I'd love to wear it to the
And
next.
Finley would love to.
Oh,
School
but-
formal?
But he'll wear the dress.
There's no
That's
fox
cra-
face on
that's
it. You're
crazy.
just in a human form. Do you guys want a fox mask?
that
Is that what
kinda-
you're talking about?
I mean, if we can wear it to the formal, I'll definitely wear it. Back
Yeah,
to taxidermy.
Yeah, back to the
Taxidermy.
backlash.
Taxidermy.
Yeah, backlash. How
Backlash.
have you dealt with that?
Well, so this one time I had a solo exhibition with Aglaya as well. So we had all the photos, and I had a lot of my work. So I had about 20 foxes in a row on a wall at the City Library Gallery in Melbourne, in the centre of Melbourne. And it was there for a month. And like I had Rudolph because I made Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, and it was around Christmas time, and he's got a little red nose that turns on when you walk past him. It's got like a little sensors and stuff. So a lot of families went there with their kids and stuff to see that, and one of the ladies that worked there, she had to see it every day. And when I was packing it up, like I didn't see everyone's responses, but when I was packing up, she's like, "Oh, good, I'm an animal lover and I've had to look at that every day and I'm so glad they're going." So I'm like, "Oh, I'm an animal lover too." Like, have you ever seen a numbat? Have you seen a bandicoot? Have you ever seen, like, you know, these animals that are actually native animals to Australia? She's like, "No." I'm like, well, that's the reason these guys, like, you can't see them, because these guys have eaten them all. So
The woman complaining, did she know that it was your
no,
art? Oh,
she
okay.
didn't know it was my art. She
gonna
wouldn't
say.
have known who I was at all. So yeah.
Still, could you imagine? I don't know about you guys, but I think this is a
Yeah,
pretty good
I
place
think,
to
yeah.
wrap it up.
So,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on the
Thank you.
show.
Oh,
Lucia.
you're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for the podcast.
That was
Thanks for having me.
insane. That
Hope
was
it didn't
amazing.
get too dark.
No.
Sorry, it's
I
just
thought it'd
comes
get a
with-
lot darker
Finley's
than
gonna
it.
cry once we-
Really?
I'm gonna cry once we finish.
I'm still the same colour, so we're fine. Anyways, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been Suli, Riley, and Finley, and our special guest, Lucy. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having me.
Love you guys.
Okay.